So what is cybersecurity and why is it so important? So much in the same way that physical security such as locks, fences and police officers help to reduce crime in the real world, cybersecurity helps to reduce cyber harm in the virtual world. Ethics don't exactly exist in computers, so if you give them a formally specified problem, they'll happily produce an answer almost immediately. Running code that shuts down hospitals' computer systems is no different from running code that keeps a patient's heart beating. Cybersecurity is simply the effort to keep computer systems functioning as intended and not falling foul of being manipulated for malicious purposes. Cyber threats are forever changing and adapting, but our UK businesses, they need to continuously train, upskill and empower staff to look out for human vulnerabilities, which is why this course was created. The learning outcomes for this lesson are the continuing rise of cybercrime. We'll get a clearer picture of why cybercrime is continuing to increase and is actually accelerating. Then we'll see the damage it causes to businesses and how. We'll look at the relationship between cybersecurity and trust in businesses and how our identities protect our data. Then we'll cover the vulnerabilities that are inherent in all organisations without exception, before finishing off with the importance of securing sensitive information. So every day approximately 4,000 cyber attacks occur. One reason cybercrime is on the rise is that it's less expensive, faster and more profitable than other types of crime, which is why cyber criminals are flocking to it. Not only that, but because criminals can operate with a high level of anonymity, it's extremely difficult to catch and prosecute perpetrators, which means it's low risk, high gain for them. Another way to think about it is when protecting itself from cyber threats, an organisation has to cover every possible vulnerability that could be potentially exploited. And this requires a huge amount of thought, time and effort in most cases. Whereas a criminal hacker only has to find one weakness that may have been overlooked in that organisation's defences to gain unauthorised access and cause problems. Cybercrime can cause businesses to lose millions in damages. But it isn't just about money. It can also damage their reputations, impede their ability to conduct business, and even jeopardise the physical safety and health of their employees, their patients, and their customers. Add to this the possibility of adversely affecting partners and their supply chains, and the damage can be absolutely catastrophic. When people don't believe that their information is properly secured and kept private, it affects trust with customers and employees. They gradually lose faith in the brand, the product and the services of that organisation. User identities now safeguard billions of data points, and this is the data that we transmit at work from smart devices like coffee machines or printers that we use, and our personal information is at greater risk as more of our data is digitised. Securing these identities reduces the risk of cybercrime for both organisations and individuals. As organisations evolve, merge and grow, their networks and systems inherently become more complicated and things can fall through the cracks. Furthermore, end users like you and me are frequently the weakest link in an organisation's security. And this means that we absolutely must prioritise the implementation of robust security and compliance safeguards. And this can be done with strong password policies and access controls, which we're going to go into more detail later in the course. We should all be concerned about cybersecurity. It's a part of all of our jobs because it's a necessary part of any organisation. And when done properly, it's really effective. A proper security strategy can assist us in maintaining a more secure, private and effective working environment. However, it is always important to remember that nothing is ever 100% secure. People are always making mistakes and vulnerabilities are either overlooked or not even discovered yet as new threats emerge all the time. Okay, I'm now going to hand you over to our Technical Director and Ethical Hacker, Callum Duncan, aka Q. Now, what we're going to be doing throughout this course is asking his opinion from an attacker's perspective why these topics are so important, and he'll also give some tips on how to protect yourself in an organisation.
Working in a big company and having access to any personal information, it's really important to understand that when you're accessing that information, you're responsible for it, you become the processor. So on an organisation's level, yes, it is the IT department, But on an individual level, it's actually up to you to know how to process that data and know how to manage it correctly and securely so that it doesn't get leaked, like, say, the MI5 dropping all of their agents on a train, like, what was it, 10 years ago? Right? And that was a personal issue because one of the data analytics dudes messed up.
It's often said in the industry that an organisation's biggest vulnerability is its people, and they're often unaware of the cyber risks around them and are the easiest target for a skilled scam artist. But it doesn't have to be this way. The human element of any organisation can and must be its first and strongest line of defence. Securing sensitive information has become a higher priority for nearly every type of organisation, public or private. Data security is also increasing in complexity as the sophistication of hacker methods and the number and severity of attacks increases. Poor security is costly, and some of the reasons for the exponential increase in cyber attacks include the growth of storage capacity, along with the appetite of organisations to collect and store oceans of data. Online transactions are convenient for so many users, but they can also be hacked. Securing this information has become a priority for many organisations and individuals, yet usually only after they become victims of cybercrime. There are also legal requirements that companies and other organisations must follow in order to protect the data of their customers and partners. Many countries have their own set of data privacy and breach notification laws, and every worker in an organisation is responsible for upholding the security of data and information related to his or her job. Information security specialists are actively involved in the planning and designing of defences and are also responsible for the strategies that defend against data security breaches. Simply put, it's everyone's responsibility to be aware of the cyber threats around them and to take appropriate measures to secure digital information.